Hi, I'm Ken Howard, and welcome to the Gay Therapy LA podcast. Today, I want to talk about gay men in search of a partner, avoiding the pitfalls of cash, connections, and cock. So, in my private practice in counseling and psychotherapy and coaching for gay men based in Los Angeles, and also online to all over the country and all over the world, my clients who are gay men who are single often mention a desire to find a permanent partner. And this is only natural because most people, male, female, gay, straight, have an urge to find a partner or a spouse to share life with. But this, by no means everyone. It's okay to be single. But for those who want a partner, the process of dating and finding a partner and making it work and building a home and a life together can be frustrating. I hear complaints of, where are all the good men? And it seems like the best guys are taken, or the best guys are straight. This is not necessarily true. And since I work with gay male couples as well in couples therapy or relationship coaching online for over 28 years now, I've come to understand a few conclusions based on my couples work and working with single gay men who are dating about what makes for a happy relationship and what doesn't. I kind of make a joke that the older I get, the stronger my opinions get, because after years and years and years of experience with hundreds or even thousands of gay men, I really see where the mistakes are, and I get kind of more bold in kind of saying what does not work in my observation, and then what does, because that's maybe easier to follow a guideline too. But after many years of observation of the common problems and challenges in a couple, we're looking at what common elements strengthen the relationship and help it endure over time, as opposed to having lots of drama and breakups and, serial relationships like a revolving door. And to that end, I wanted to share a few observations on what actually a client one time mentioned to me as the 3 C's. Now I use another version of the 3 C's in my work with couples. I call them commitment, communication, and compromise. And I think there's a previous episode on that. And there's also more information on that on my website. If you go to gaytherapyla.com and then to the blog tab, and then you use the little search box on the right, look up something like communication or compromise, and you'll find several articles that talk about the 3 building blocks of a relationship: a strong commitment, good solid communication of talking and listening, and the ability and the skill to form compromises, just like grown-ups, and really form grown-up practical solutions that resolve conflict in relationships. But there's the other 3 C's, and the other 3 C's are what we call the pitfalls of gay men's dating that I've seen over and over again. It's making the mistake of emphasizing cash, connections, or cock. And this episode's going to get an explicit rating because I'm using the word cock, but you know what? There's no other kind of word for it about, an emphasis on, gay men's kind of phallic worship and size queens and this kind of thing. And, that is a powerful social motivator. And to say that it's not is kind of ignoring a certain gay social political reality, and we kind of have to just reflect and say, okay, well, what are we going to do about that? But let's take each of those 3 pitfalls of the 3 C's at a time. Now, the first one, cash, means that in dating, it is generally a mistake to put your number one priority on how much money a guy earns. I mean, sure, even your buddies might joke that they might want to find a rich boyfriend, and we see lots of examples of this. However, when we think about what sustains a relationship over time, like sharing common interests, spending free time together, and intimacy, how much money the guy has is often irrelevant. While it's true that a relationship with someone who is chronically unemployed by way of bad habits, or isn't mature enough to have a job and take responsibility and support himself, would be undesirable. But it's not necessary that he be a wealthy man to have a happy relationship. When it comes to cash, make your own by developing your own career. Cultivate that professional identity and identify what you contribute to the commercial capitalist world about making a living. and in doing something hopefully that you love, but also what makes you money. I've been coached on this myself. You're making a living while making a difference in so many different fields. Cultivate your education level. Work hard to do well in high school or college or grad school or vocational education, but learn the skills that are commercially valuable to our society. Do networking and form social professional networks that will help you get jobs or get promotions, and have a body of work, whether that's in sales or something creative or something technical, a history or a portfolio of work that speaks for itself. Build your resume in ways that are professionally sound, and learn what those ways are. Create a career that satisfies your ideal vision of your professional self, and that's something I help many individual clients do in career coaching sessions. Have your own personal cash flow, and your choice of partner can be independent, somewhat just variable. It's a separate variable about how much they earn. And this can be very self-empowering for you to be able to choose any partner you want, regardless of having to rely on them for your support, which is dangerous for you if the relationship should ever end, leaving you without your own salary history and your professional skill set in the aftermath. You don't want to be the kept boy with the sugar daddy, because if you should dump him, or maybe more likely he should dump you for a younger model, and you've relied on him to live in a good house and to have vacations and have a lavish lifestyle while you don't have your own professional skill set, you might find yourself at a more advanced age with no career path to really point to. And that's a very vulnerable life position to be in. And I worked with homeless people early in my career for 5 years, and one of the risks of homelessness is just not having enough job skills to be commercially valuable to a capitalistic society. So you want to kind of have your own mad money, have your own skills and your own identity, not only for your own personal pride, but also for your own financial security, with or without a partner. The next C is about connections. Too many gay men choose partners not because of their emotional and sexual attraction, but because they're connections to influential people and opportunities. And here where I am in Los Angeles, this often means the entertainment industry for young Hollywood hopefuls, but it can also be in other fields. And while I encourage my clients to identify and cultivate relationships with people who can be mentors in whatever your chosen profession is, including seeking out informational interviews or networking lunches or coffee meetings with professionals whom you admire, I believe that your career connections and your choice of a domestic partner or a spouse for a relationship should also be two independent variables. Imagine how you would feel if a person was only paying attention to you, especially romantically, for the job that you had, or the status or position you held, or the people you knew who could help that person succeed professionally. You would naturally feel resentful and objectified, and want to be validated for yourself as a person, not just what's written on your business card. Well, the partners that you seek out would feel the same way. Keep your mentors and your networking contacts separate from the man you love at home. The last C, the big one, cock, or maybe it's not a big one, and that's my point. When you're choosing your mate for theoretically a lifelong relationship, whether it's monogamous or some version of non-monogamy, the size of your guy should actually be a fairly minor consideration. Far too many guys who are seeking a lifetime of love and companionship, and even sex, limit their social and sexual contacts to men who are particularly well endowed. We all kind of know that one size queen who, won't pay attention to a guy unless they know how big he is. And this isn't everyone. I mean, especially if you're a top or a squeamish bottom. But, far too many guys place penis size above all, or at least most, other considerations of a man's suitability for a relationship. And this is a mistake. If you do this, then the novelty of his endowment will eventually wear off, and you'll be left with whatever remains of the guy. If the man of your dreams is less endowed than you would like, you can see if you can compromise on this. There's the possibility of using larger toys, or kind of adjunctive toys that might satisfy you. Fort Trough or Mr. S. Leather, some of the big gay retail websites that have sex toys and gear are great resources for buying these kinds of things. Or you could negotiate an open relationship just for the purpose of occasional romps with Mr. Big. And one couple I worked with did just that. They'd been together about 12 years, and one of them kind of said he really wanted to bottom for a larger guy. And they talked about why sexually that was important to him. And they negotiated for him to play with a particularly well-hung buddy of theirs. It didn't break up the primary relationship, and they still had at least a home or two, and they had all kinds of ways that they enjoyed sharing time together and loving each other and being an integral part of each other's families of origin. But they compromised on how, the little size queen partner could really get that need fulfilled just as a sexual interest without it necessarily disturbing the primary relationship or even destroying it. I've always said that a gay man's relationship must work on 4 levels: emotionally, loving and being in love with your partner; physically, meaning casual touch, all the way to the quality of your sex life. And as a sex therapist myself, I work with couples on this, sometimes very specifically on troubleshooting things like erectile dysfunction, premature ejaculation, and then there are other episodes here on the podcast show about fear of topping or fear of bottoming or embracing kink and non-vanilla play. Domestically is another level. You have to be able to get along to decide what level to set the thermostat at, or who's going to take the trash out, or who's going to clean the cat's box, or who's going to pay the bills, or who's going to take in the dry cleaning, or who's going to coordinate remodeling the kitchen, or who's going to help research planning the next vacation. All these kind of domestic chores that a couple, especially a gay couple, might have. There's no wife, there's no gender role expectations here, so you have to make it work domestically, almost as if you were living with a roommate. And then a 4th area that I call managing the other, which includes, not letting your exes, other gay men, roommates, intrusive parents with poor boundaries, neighbors, or, micromanaging bosses to undermine the commitment and the quality of your relationship and the sanctity of your time together as a couple against all enemies, foreign and domestic. And yes, sexual satisfaction is part of making it work physically, but to put an emphasis above all other considerations for your potential partner confuses the issue on whether you really want a partner or just a certain piece of one. For other considerations in gay men's relationship that need attention, visit gaytherapyla.com. One of those is about addictions, whether it's alcohol, crystal meth, cocaine, prescription painkillers, or even just marijuana. That can actually be a problem, even though it's legal now in many states. So if you can avoid overemphasizing the 3 C's that we've discussed today, your quest to find Mr. Right might be enhanced. And if you need additional guidance on how to maximize your chances of finding a suitable partner, consider booking some counseling or coaching sessions with me. I would love to work with you. And if it can't work out with me, then I've got a couple of associates I could also refer you to who are associate clinicians with the Gay Therapy LA practice, available in person in LA during the week or on the weekend. Or you can work remotely through the phone or webcam like FaceTime or Skype. And sometimes helping you customize troubleshooting the pitfalls in your dating skills can be a lot of help. You might not realize how you come off to other people, but I sometimes coach guys on how they can put their best foot forward. And that's whether you're, drop dead gorgeous and it's easy for you to attract guys, or whether you're just more average and it's not about winning some kind of a beauty contest. It's about relating to guys in some other way, which includes, most of us are that. Only a small population are, pretty beauty contest guys. So making a lifetime connection, it's theoretically a lifetime, really is a skill process. You have to be psychologically ready, and you have to be able to identify and reject the guys that are toxic to you, who might be abusive or irresponsible, versus identifying the guys who are really good for you and looking at maybe ways you're sabotaging yourself. And if you're indulging in any of the 3 C's of cash, connections, and cock, you may be just going about it the wrong way, and you need to find a new way, dating skills 2.0, to approach how you're looking to find a partner out in the world. So to reach me, you can always call or text my cell, 310-339-5778. That's 310-339-5778. Or you can go to my website, gaytherapyla.com, and a little box will pop up, and that will let you email me, and then we can talk about how we can do some work together with me or one of my associates. So thanks for listening, and I'll see you next time. If you can take the opportunity to give a rating and a comment or a review or a question, that's always appreciated, because it helps get the word out to the podcast to other guys who might benefit from this kind of stuff. So feel free to share, and let's help spread the word. Thanks.